Hi everyone, and in this video I'm going to be doing through the first 4 questions on paper 2 from 2021 for A-level for Edexcel. So question 1, it says in an arithmetic series the first term is 16, the 21st term is 24, find the common difference of the series and hence find the sum of the first 500 terms. So a really nice little question to get us started there. Let's sharpen our pencil before we get cracking on it. Okay, so what do we know? We know that the expression for the nth term of an arithmetic sequence is a plus n minus 1 times d. So let's start off by writing that down. So un is equal to a plus n minus 1 times by d there. Okay, so that's our expression for our nth term. Now we're told that the 21st term is 24, okay? So in other words, u21 is equal to the first term, which we're told is 16, okay, plus 21 minus 1 times by the common difference, which we don't know, is equal to 24, okay? So from that, we can work out now what the common difference is. So we can just basically say that we're going to do 24 take away 16, so we're going to do 24 take away 16, and then we're going to divide that whole thing by 20. So the common difference is equal to 8 divided by 20, and 8 divided by 20 is 0.4. So that's part A done. Part B, hence find the sum of the first 500 terms. Now, in the formula booklet, we are given the formula for the sum here of an arithmetic series, okay? So we can use that we're given. So the sum Sn is equal to a half n times by 2a plus n minus 1 times by d. Okay, and then let's sub everything in there. So we're going to have a half times by 500 times by 2 times a, which is 16, plus n, which is 500 minus 1, times the common difference, which we now know is 0.4. And when we evaluate that, we find out that the sum of the first 500 terms, I should write 500 there, 500. The sum of the first 500 terms is 57,900 is our answer for that one. Right, that's question 1 done. Question 2, what have we got here? The functions. So question 2, it says the functions f and g are defined by f of x equals 7 minus 2x squared, and g of x is equal to 3x over 5x minus 1. State the range of f of x. So let's have a little think about our f of x. It's a negative quadratic. This is one of those functions where it helps me to write it back to front. But what I mean by that is, instead of thinking of it as 7 minus 2x squared, it helps me to think of it as minus 2x squared add 7. I don't know, I just think that's preferable. So I can see now that this is a negative quadratic, okay, and that when x is equal to 0, it's going to go through y is equal to 7. So if I was to sketch it, it's going to be negative quadratic like that, and it's going to go through this point 0, 7. So therefore the range, which are the values that are coming out of this function, is that f of x is less than or equal to 7. So that's our part A, our range of the function f. Find out part B, g of f of 1.8. Well, that's super nice. That's basically GCSE. In fact, this whole question is basically GCSE. So we need to find out g of f of 1.8. Okay, so let's work out what f of 1.8 is. I'll just do it over here. F of 1.8 is going to equal 7 minus 2 times by 1.8 squared. Now, when we work that out, that turns out to be 0.52. So therefore it's going to be, so f of 1.8 is 0.52. So therefore we're going to work out g of 0.52 because the answer that comes out from here goes into here. And g of 0.52 is going to be 3 times by 0.52 over 5 times 0.52 minus 1. And when we evaluate that, that's 0.975. So that's our answer for part B. Part C. find the inverse function. There's two different ways of doing this of g of x. I'm in the camp that basically kind of swaps over the x and y. So I've got 3x over 5x minus 1. Now at this stage, everywhere that there's a y, I change it into an x, and everywhere that there's an x, I change it into a y. And then I rearrange the whole thing to make y the subject, okay? So that's, you know, some teachers don't do it that way. They just basically like leave it as it is and swap it over at the end. But they're both equivalent. So I've swapped my x and y. My y has become an x, and my x's have become y's. And I now just rearrange this to make y the subject. So that's going to give me x times by 5y minus 1 is equal to 3y. Span my bracket, so x 5xy minus x equals 3y. Take the x over here and take this over here. So I get 5xy minus 3y equals x. And then I'm going to factorize out the y. So that gives me y 5x minus 3 is equal to x. And then finally, I'm just going to divide everything by the bracket. So I get that y is therefore equal to x over 5x minus 3. And I can say, therefore, that is my inverse function. So I can say that the inverse g to the minus 1 of x is in fact equal to x over 5x minus 3. And that is that one done. Okay, so that's question 2 done. Right, question 3. Little logarithm, nice logarithm solving question here. Excuse me. Right, so it says, using the laws of logs, solve this equation. So, what have we got? We've got log to the base 3 of 12y plus 5. Now I'm just going to do the first step straight away, okay? We've got a subtraction, which means it's going to change into a quotient, into a division, okay? So that's going to be 1 minus 3y is equal to 2. So all I've done there is I've kind of like done the first step straight away, okay? Because we have a subtraction, it's the same as log to the base 3 of 12y add 5 over 1 minus 3y. I'm now going to reverse the logs. So that means that 12y add 5 over 1 minus 3y is equal to 3 squared. So I'm now going to times by this bracket. So I'm going to have 12y add 5 is equal to 3 squared, which is 9, times by 1 minus 3y. And if I now expand my bracket, 9 times 1 is 9, 3 times 9 is 27y, and I've got 12y add 5. So I'm going to add this 27 over to the left-hand side. It's going to give me 39y. I'm going to take this 5 over the other side is equal to 4. So I have y is equal to 4 over 39, which is our answer for that one. So that was pretty nice, And then the last question for this video, which completes this paper, is, a nice little small angle approximations. So let's have a look. Now, we are given our small angle approximations in the formula booklet. At least we are for Edexcel. Here they are. There is our small angle approximations. Maybe just leave those visible in case they're helpful. It says, given that theta is small and measured in radians, okay, that's good. So we can clearly see it is small angle approximation. It tells us, use small angle approximation to show that that is equal to that. Okay, so what can we say? Sine theta is approximately equal to theta. So that's nice and straightforward. That is just going to go to, let's write down the original thing. So it's 4 sine theta over 2 plus 3 cos squared theta. So this is just going to go to, using this identity here, it's just going to go to 4 times by theta over 2. So that's nice. Now, the next bit, what have we got? We've got cos squared. Now, I think which way shall we? There's presumably a couple of ways we could do this. We can go with, you know what, I'm just going to do it the way that it would have occurred to me if I was going to do it. So cos squared is going to be, so it's going to be 3 times 1 minus theta squared over 2 all squared. I think if I was approaching this question, that's what instinctively I would have thought of. So 4 theta over 2 is going to be 2 theta. So we simplify that first one, that's 2 theta. Let's expand our bracket now. So that's going to be 1 minus theta squared over 2 minus another theta squared over 2 plus theta to the power of 4 plus theta to the power of 4 over 4. Okay, so let's collect like terms now. So we've got 2 theta add 3 times by 1 minus theta squared, because a half minus a half is 1. And we've got plus theta to the power 4 over 4. And let's expand our brackets. So that gives us 2 theta plus 3 minus 3 theta squared plus 3 theta to the power 4 over 4. Now, because it's just like a small angle approximation, then I think basically what's happening is they're just ignoring this power in 4 because it's going to be like really, really small. So we can actually say that what we have got is we have got 3 plus 2 theta minus 3 theta squared. Okay, because this is just like really small, it's kind of negligible. And in any case, we're only dealing with an approximation. So because it's just an approximation, it doesn't, that's the justification for why we don't really need to worry about that theta to the power 4. Okay, that completes question 4. So remember, if you're finding these videos useful, I think you know what I'm going to say. Do remember to like and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate it. Honestly, it really is, really helps me to keep on making more videos. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.